Hello everybody, it's Jeanette Luther. So today's project is using papers by Thoughtful Studio. These are new papers, not out yet, so as soon as they are, I'll have a link down below so that you can get your own copy. They are absolutely gorgeous, and I had a blast making this book. So obviously, it's a very nautical theme. And I kind of went a different route with this. So I liked the pages, I liked the way they looked, and I didn't want to, fold them. So this is very much junk journal kit. You can use this in your journals. The design pages are made just like a typical junk journal kit. I just decided to go a different route and do a horizontal and not fold the pages. And it's also a little more artistic, if you will. So while it is definitely usable in terms of a journal, it can also just be a pretty sitting on your shelf. So the cover, one of the things I did was throughout, I have a bunch of these. I don't know if they're going to show up too well on the video, but they are metallic kind of papers and different patterns that are imprinted on them. And along with, I have a number of these really gorgeous handmade papers that not by me, bought them at the store, but they're really nice. And so I used those papers in addition to the design paper, and I ripped them up. The idea was to make them look like waves to kind of go with the theme. So that's what we've got on the cover. And then this is my favorite thing. This is the spine. So it's just a piece of fabric, put a little bit of stabilizer behind the fabric. You might be able to, if I put it like this, you can see the stabilizer underneath there. And that just gives it a little bit of firmness for when I sewed on the buttons. And this is just a piece of sari silk. And then I just took a bunch of buttons and went down the row and just bunched up the fabric and sewed on the buttons. That ended up looking pretty cute. And the back is this paper. Part of the kit, it's you can make an envelope out of it, but I used it as a background paper. For the cover, there's the back here on this cover. This is also one of the envelopes, again, just blown up, and I took off the edges, and so that I have kind of like a label for the front page. And this is one of the ephemera pieces, just blown up nice and big to look really awesome on the cover. And then also on the inside of the book, I used that paper again for the front and the back. And didn't do anything to the covers on the inside, and because all emphasis is on the pages, so didn't want to detract. So here is page 1. And what I did, as you can see, is these are held in with fabric. So I've got 6 pages for 3 signatures. Each signature is just 2 pages, and as you can see, they're held in with the fabric. And what I did there, and I'll have hopefully have a picture either stuck in right here or attached to this. What I did was took a piece of Tyvek, and Tyvek is that material that they make those really great envelopes that you can get at the post office that you can't tear for nothing. You can cut it, but it just doesn't rip. Makes a really good for doing your spines. So what I did was, there's 2 pages, so there's 2 pieces of craft paper, and I did all my work on it. There's some sewing done, and then when I got the page the way I liked it, put the 2 pages together and then sewed them together all around, and then took 2 of the finished completed pages that were sewn together, and then put them together, not too close, just a little bit of a gap so that they fold nicely, and then put that little piece of Tyvek down the spine and then just glued the fabric pieces over it. Unfortunately, I don't have a sewing machine that allows me to put this wide of a page into my sewing machine, so I wasn't able to go up the sides here, which is what I wanted to do, but I just went across the bottom and the top and just zoom, 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 zoom back and forth with the zigzag to really put that, get it nice and attached. The Tyvek is what's giving me the strength here. And of course they were just sewn in, and that's behind. So I sewed it right through the cover. That gives it even more stability. And then just used the buttons to hide the stitches. So that's how the basic construction of the book. And like I said, so they did a lot of sewing. I'm not a great sewer, so nothing is even remotely completely straight, and some of it is a little wonky, but I actually really like that. Gives it more of that artistic flair, right? Okay, since I did a lot to each of the pages, they're a little hard to see. I printed out the pages so you can see them in their original form. So this is this page, and excuse how my printer is doing this. Like I said, this is not the to be sold kit, so it's printing out some things, and it's not printing. I didn't worry too much about printing it, accurate and all that, just so you could see what the original page looks like. And so that's that page. And let me see, let me take these guys out so you can see. This is just the same metallic kind of paper I've got. It was a bunch of stationery sets, so envelopes with matching paper. Really gorgeous papers, all kinds of different colors. So I used quite a bit of the envelopes to make pockets and the papers to add accents and that kind of thing. And then this is what I was saying, this is the handmade paper that has been, there's a whole bunch in here, and it was difficult to tear, I have to say that. These fibers really wanted to hold together, but I think it turned out real nice. And then in the kit, we've got a whole bunch of great ephemera pieces, little doodads, and some really nice words. They're in a card, if you will, so you can print, cut out the card as it is and use that. It has a nice number of words, which you'll see throughout because I used all of them. Or you can do what I did here, which is cut out each word individually and use it throughout. Makes a nice little journal card. And then just a piece of craft with, again, this same paper. Oh, maybe you can see that. So there was a number of different textures. I really liked this texture on the paper because it looked like waves again. And so, like I said, did a lot of ripping to make it kind of feel like waves. That was the goal. And then found this wonderful yarn, string, whatever it is, fiber. I kind of thought it looked like wiggly blue seaweed. So opposed to green, blue seaweed. So I thought that looked pretty cool. And I picked out a whole bunch of different fabrics. I really like the juxtaposition of the different colors and the different styles of the images on the fabrics and the pages. So. All right, this is the next one. Let me get that paper. I'm moving my, there we go. Let me get that paper so you can see this one. So this is how the paper looks originally. And as you can see, what I did was I cut out the little lighthouse and I used this side of the background for a pocket over here. So let me take all these little guys out and we can see that. And again, just differing papers from my stash. This one here is one that I actually sprayed once upon a time. It ended up looking pretty cool. Excuse me. And again, this is one of those little words from the kit and torn to make it look like waves. And it's so interesting, just before I started making this book, I had gotten a eBay purchase with a number of different papers in it, and a set of papers were these vellum images of shells, beaches. I used quite a bit of them in the book, but I thought that was just like serendipity timing that I got those and was making this book. And then this is just some scrapbook paper from my stash. And again, one of the ephemera pieces from the kit. And this paper going across is another one of those handmade papers. And then this is the same paper from the envelope. And again, I just cut out a piece of it. And then the same scrapbook paper from the tag. And then this is from the ephemera kit part. And I just cut out, it's in a little oval, but I cut out the little lighthouse from the inside to make a little journal card. And here you can see, so I would have liked to have stitched this down. I might go back through and maybe glue it down, I don't know. It also looks kind of neat, ruffled up a bit. But underneath this is the Tyvek holding the two pages together. So the two, it's like page stitched together, as you can see, and then the two sets together, little strip of Tyvek, and then the fabric over it. And then it's just, this is a 5-hole pamphlet stitch to stitch it into the book. All right, so next page, let's see, the original page looks like this. And I just made a little belly band. This is some of that paper that I was talking about, and then just a little trim ribbon. It's kind of stretchy. It was hard to work with. And then 2 pieces from the ephemera. This wonderful, kind of looks like a washi tape. And this wonderful little image with wisdom. And it's put on, and then I stitched the bottom and the top, and it was having difficulty, so my stitching's not great, but I like it. Let's just call it, I meant to do that, right? That's artistic. And again, I got just a bunch of envelopes and made a lot of little ephemera pieces, like I was saying. This one is actually not as metallic as the other one. It's got a tiny bit of a pearl finish. And this is one of those vellum pieces. Oop, I'm holding it upside down. Vellum pieces, and then a piece from the ephemera. Love that one. And a little bit of that same paper just glued on there, and then made it into a little photo mat booklet, if you will. And that's just 2 envelopes put together to make a little photo mat envelope thing. Okay, next page. Let me take these guys out so you can see the page. And I like that kind of, you know, you could just put them all straight in, but I liked having them all wonky. I think it adds to the flow of the water kind of feel. So this is the original page. To put the envelope down, I had to cover up this nice flower. So one should be able to see the page as it is. And like I said, these make really nice pages in a journal. Just fold in half. Here again, another envelope with that pretty sheen on it, and some more of the handmade papers. This one was really hard to rip. It wanted to only rip in a straight line. Nothing I could do. I had to go back in and just, and it still wouldn't do it, but hey, it works. But yeah, some different papers. And then let's see, the ephemera pieces. This is just a piece of craft card with all the different papers that I used throughout the book, just made into little strips to make little waves. And this is from the ephemera kit. I wonder if that had a name, because it's just gorgeous, and she used it throughout, and I really love it. And then this is, again, that envelope like I used from the front. Of course, obviously the other one was blown up. This is the smaller size for like a normal envelope. And I just put it on some gold paper. It's shiny on this side. This particular set of paper didn't have the shiny on the back, but I thought it still works. And so just there's like a nice label on the envelope. So I just cut out the label and used it as a journal card photo mat. One of the little postcards. And again, I didn't necessarily print everything the normal size, so some of it is a little small, but I liked that because I wanted some little things to fit into my Waytail pocket. One of the tags, time after time, I just love that. And again, some of that little seaweed. All right, next page. Let's see, the original page for this one looks like this. Really gorgeous. The colors in this are really beautiful. And so what I've done here was just made a little pocket out of some craft paper and again some of the torn paper. And this is another piece from the ephemera kit. It's a really nice little saying from Wordsworth, or quote from Wordsworth. And another little craft piece of paper, some of the papers with another of the ephemera pieces. And then I just took a little doily, and actually it was a big doily, and I just cut out the middle part of the doily. And this is one of the tags from the kit, and there's just a little bullpen there with a little starfish charm, and that's held on with a little brad. Only thing is you gotta make sure those goes down flat so you don't squish everything. So here we go. Next page. This one, trying to get the paper here. That's this one. So beautiful. I just love the little lighthouse just kind of peeking out in the image. So on this one, and so if you can hear that, my cat has been crying, and I don't know, she wants treats. And I think she thinks if she just yells loud enough, she'll get treats whenever she wants. And she's in some kind of mood today, and she just wants treats. She ain't getting them. So anyways, just another craft piece, some of that hand woven piece. I don't know it's gorgeous, but anyways, and then a little pocket here that has been embossed. This was actually given to me in, I think it was a swap, and part of the swap, she just put some other little pieces in, so that was really sweet. And one of the little ephemera pieces, I just love her. She's off to scoop around in the shells. And so this is that same scrapbook paper with the handmade paper and one of the little ephemera pieces. And then I just loved the scrapbook paper. I used it throughout. I kind of thought it looked like driftwood. You know, driftwood, once the salt and stuff dries out, it gets these wonderful, beautiful colors. So I used that paper throughout. And then a little tag with some of the cut paper again and the ephemera piece. And let's see if I can get that. Isn't that gorgeous? Little teacup with a lighthouse in it. I just love that. And the next page, this one looks pretty much like the original. Let me get that into frame. Didn't do much to it. So this is the original. And all I did was I printed it out twice and then cut along and fussy cut around and just cut this whole middle piece out. And then just put it on some craft paper, the same paper, just to give it some stability, because turning into a pocket, you have things coming in and out. And then glued that down and stitched around to make it a little pocket. Oh, sorry. A couple of tags, and again, some of that handmade paper cut and made little wavy things. On this one, another bull pen, and it's wanting to be annoying with me. There we go. Got the little one of the tags, and I just put it on some gold paper. So each of the tags, just for stability's sake, make it a little bit more sturdy. Put it on some of the other paper and a nice little fishy charm. And again, I'm going to make sure that stays flat. Okay, here we go. Now this page I did quite a bit with in terms of it not looking quite like it did in the original. So this is the original page. And what I did was obviously I just cut down here, fussy cut around the little flowers and down to make a pocket. And as you can see, this whole side is not on the page itself. Just use some of the papers, make nice little wavies. And what I did with that side was I made it into a really big photo mat. And along with some of the pieces from the ephemera, that's also stitched just for pretties. And that can go into the pocket. Excuse me. Yeah, so just a reminder that, you know, when you have a page, this is so gorgeous, and obviously using it as it is perfectly wonderful. I just like to see what I can do with the pages. I mean, not to just say, okay, this is what I have and this is what I'm going to go with. I love, especially ones like this where I know I can pick this, I can use this, I cut that out, use that someplace else. So there's so many ways to use these wonderful kits. So that slides in there. And then another envelope this time. This is actually just one envelope with one of the cards. And you can see that from the side. It just glued on to the card. I thought it looked pretty cool that way. And then some more of the ripped papers with a samovar from the ephemera kit. And another little piece of card there so that we have a pocket. And this is just some washi tape to cover the seam between the two. I love that shiny. And this is another one that is pretty much how it is in the kit. I didn't do much, so here's the page. And what I did was I just, again, cut out the little compass and the envelope, backed them to give them some stability, and I did, once I glued them down, I stitched wonkily. Let's not look at how bad that one looks. Let's look at this one, because this one worked really nicely. Stitched along so that it give it some really good stability on the page for a nice big journal card, using one of the ephemera and another one of the words, sayings from that book card. And so now they act as tuck spots to hold in that card. Okay, this is one of my favorite pages. So again, see the original page is really gorgeous. I just love these little kelp images on the sides. Really beautiful. And so on this one, made a pocket with some craft paper and some of the handmade paper. And then this is again one of the ephemera cards, one of the postcard ephemera cards, journal cards. And then a little bit of lace, and that's just stitched in the back there, and a little bow clip with a little seahorse and one of the words. And just a simple card mimicking the paper and one of the ephemera pieces. And this one, for some reason, is really tight. So I have to actually lift it up to get that in there. Oh. Let's see. So this one, let me take everybody out first. This one looks like this. Okay. Have a nice globe in the middle. And what I did was, again, made a pocket out of one of the envelopes and some papers for some waves. That's that handmade paper again. And situated it so it kind of covers part of the globe, but you can see the globe peeking out. And I just love this. And yeah, throughout, just little additions to make it kind of cool. Some more scrapbook paper. It's just some cardstock and a couple of the leftover pieces with one of the ephemera tickets. then that side. And then another of that scrapbook paper. So I think it reminds me of driftwood. Maybe it doesn't remind me, but it makes me think of driftwood, so I'm going with it. And this is some more of the paper from the envelope. So this is some leftover piece from, like I said, I cut off the label piece to make a tag earlier. So this is some more of the paper, and then I just backed it with some of the gold paper just to give it, again, some stability. And this is one of the little postcards. Again, printed kind of small because, like I said, I knew I had these pockets and I wanted them to fit in nicely. So they're a little small. Last page, last but certainly not least. So again, this is fairly close to the original. All I did was cut out this little box there to make a pocket. Backed it with some craft paper just to give it some stability. And then this is another of those vellum, or not, vellum images, and I just put it on this cardstock. And another of the envelopes, this time with craft on the inside. And some more of the paper, and the last of my ephemera pieces, a little lantern and guidance. Just love the word choices. So, and as you can see again, that wonderful paper used for the inside cover. That is it. I hope you enjoyed that. I just loved making this. Really, every little bit was just a joy to make. Gorgeous colors. And I really hope that you enjoyed that. And do definitely go take a look. Like I said, if the papers are out when they're not out at the time that I'm making this video. So if by the time I get this posted, they are out, it'll be down below. Otherwise, when it becomes available, I will update so that you have a direct link. Otherwise, you can just go to her Etsy shop, Thoughtful Studio. Again, I'll have a link down below. And she's got some beautiful kits. So definitely go take a look. So please like and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.